But Ms. Jackson, I'll let you just tack on about what you were saying about lower income folks or minorities disproportionately impacted by these policies.
Absolutely. Energy poverty is when you have to spend more than 6% of your income on your energy needs. This country has forced everybody into energy poverty. But energy poverty leads to food insecurity. And food insecurity is causing right now developmental issues in children that's growing up right now. This is affecting family formations. It's affecting marriages. So what we're doing is putting people in a dangerous position that they're even setting their thermostats and living in unhealthy conditions in their homes because of their fear of energy poverty because they can't pay their bills. How are we not thinking about the impacts to people when we're thinking about these policies?
What would you say about legislation that was supposed to cost $270 billion, then it was supposed to cost $360 billion, and now it costs $492 billion, reduces tax revenue, and ends up with a final cost of $1.8 trillion over the 10-year window? That's what the IRA does through its energy tax credits, all while the debt keeps rising. What would you say to that?
I think that that's the most gross mismanagement. If it was a private industry, it would be bankrupt. Our government would be. It's very problematic. I hear a lot of people talking about how great the Inflation Reduction Act. I see mismanagement in a lot of the ways the money is being spent. The environmental justice money, 90% went to NGOs, never hit the community. Never. I go and travel to minority communities every day, and they're not taking advantage of these so-called tax credits because they don't own their homes. But everything you're doing right now is making sure that they're so expensive that they can't own a home. Yeah. So, it's just serving one group of people who, frankly, has never asked us what we needed.
Ms. Jackson, real quick, I got one more question. What would that do to the families that you're talking about that represent minority families, poor families in the United States?
That would basically take away private car ownership. The Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia did a study and said that you can decrease the poverty rate of African Americans if they have a car. Basically, you're going to subjugate them to poverty.
Impact of the reliability of the grid on low-income households.
Most minorities live in multi-generational homes, which means there's always somebody there 24 hours. And if you have unreliable energy, that means that somebody's going to be impacted, whether it's grandma, whether it's kids, but we need reliable energy so that people don't live in unsafe conditions in their homes, and that's what's at stake for most minority homes.
Briefly, Ms. Jackson, environmental justice is predicated upon the assumption that energy production has a disproportionate negative impact on minority and impoverished communities. Ms. Jackson, do you believe environmental justice efforts, including in the IRA and other Biden administration initiatives, are actually helping the working class?
They're doing anything but that. That would be my first plan of action if I was in office, is to get rid of the environmental justice agenda because it's doing more harm than good.
Thank you. And
Ms. Jackson, you represent a constituency that is seen taking from the many to give to the few, their tax dollars to subsidize this. It was, we are at the expense of supposedly saving the planet. We're destroying the American middle-class family and their ability to afford goods and services. I want to let you talk about that just a little bit more in case I've inspired you even further.
Yes. What I'm seeing is the people that I represent are experiencing the lowest standard of living expenses in history. Their existence have been significantly decreased, and they're suffering because of it. There's higher energy prices, but energy prices go into everything that we have. And so they're paying more for food, more for kids' necessities, baby food. But, you said you were giving some numbers. I know people that are paying 4 times as much as they were for electric bills. So, we're talking about a few $30 here, $30 there, but these families are already stretched to capacity, and we're continuing to pile on. So they're really hurting, and it's at the expense at the climate at any cost. So save the people. Save the people.
I think that,
Saving the climate, but we're at the expense of destroying the people.
I think the gentlelady,
I frankly do not understand why the almost religious push to EVs. I get it. They're great toys for rich people. We subsidize them. We take money from some people and give it to others. But why not the same focus on hybrid technology, which would deliver much more capacity to a larger number of people, and it would not take the enormous battery capacity that an EV has to have?
I mean, the only thing that you can conclude is they want to take away private car ownership from the vast majority of people in this country,
Mr.
because
Higgins.
that's how you create wealth.